Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the It. What the? Did that do something? Hang on one sec. Sorry, audio listeners. And welcome to the It. Welcome to Derry Spoilers Review. I am the Canadian Nightmare, Travis Snell. Go for it.
Jesus. I am the lifeboat, Dylan Musk.
I swear, because people know this. If I have with the video on StreamYard, it does funny things. Like I do a peace sign, gives me the balloons. If I give a thumbs up, it gives a thumbs up, the heart. But I threw my arm out when I did like the welcome back, and then it did somehow. I'll have to go back and look at that. So I don't
I
know
only
what
saw
I
the
did.
firework one.
Is that what it was? Was it fireworks?
Maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
Oh, I don't even know what fireworks is. Oh, is it two thumbs up? But anyway, so we're here to talk about episode 5. Taylor will be here in a second. He's busy and I don't know, chasing a cat down a road or something. But we are over the halfway point now, Dylan, of this series. So
We are, yeah.
yeah, good, bad, indifferent. I don't know. We'll find out. But lots of stuff on the feeds. Last week we had a fun newscast, just a bunch of different topics. There was a weekly geek. I was on SideQuest with Dylan, and there's Travis told you. I thought there was something else that dropped, but maybe no, I can't remember. But this week, obviously, we got SideQuest tomorrow that records with you and Kirkland. You guys got a main topic yet, or just shooting the breeze?
Not really. There's been a couple like smaller news things, but we might have to drum up a
Quiet.
topic. So it might be
Okay.
a topic-y episode, yeah.
Best drumming games. You got Rock Band. You got Donkey Kong.
Oh yeah, I wonder what's that one on like the DS? I don't know if you played that one back in the day. I don't even know what it was called.
No.
It was like a Japanese game, but it was super fun. I remember
Okay.
playing that.
There you go. Look out
Yeah.
for no discussion on that. Maybe ask Kirkland see if he knows. But yeah, and then we got some other big reviews. Me and Taylor are gonna be reviewing a Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out story, because we're getting that in Kelowna somehow. So that's exciting on Tuesday. Just a non-spoilers, of course. We'll do spoilers. We'll drop that closer to, so don't worry. But then we got, I'll be reviewing the Volume 1 of Stranger Things. So that's why I will say, too, I'll announce it on Patreon. I will be doing the Trash Told You. That counts as one. But I haven't figured out days yet. Usually it's the Monday and Wednesday, but I got a lot of stuff going on this week. I got baby shots, their 1-year vaccinations, which is always a good time, Dylan. Always a good time sticking needles into little babies, It's always a breeze. But so
That
look
sounds
out
like
for
very dairy-related activities.
it does, yeah. So look out for that. And then, yeah, I think that's about it this week. So, yeah, still lots of good stuff in the feeds. Subscribe. We very much thank everybody that does subscribe, whether it's in the free feeds or Patreon. I guess I should look. Let me quickly look. I will soon. Maybe this week that poll's going to go up. Yeah, in 2 weeks we record the Christmas retrospective. So I'll be putting that up soon. And, yeah, lots of good stuff there. We very much thank everyone that does that. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Aaron Braden, April Darkness, Jack Grant, Sam, Super Bad Mike, God Loves Me 69, Charlie Randall, Cocktail Clay, John with no H, and Sam Green. Thank you very much. Lots of good stuff coming your way next year and in the next couple weeks as well. So, Dylan Musk, what did you think of this episode? Because I wasn't there last week, but I heard it was a bit of a rocky road from you for the review that I heard. Wasn't digging this one or that one. Are you digging this one? Or more
Yeah,
the same.
It was funny. I was saying to Taylor last week that it's been very much like back and forth, keeps swinging like a pendulum each week for me. But unfortunately, this is the second week in a row where I was not totally vibing with the episode, so that streak is broken of the pendulum streak. And I don't know. I think what it is, and this is kind of the same for almost all the episodes, specifically the ones I haven't enjoyed, is I'm just not loving the writing. I think is where it's coming down. Like I don't want to be too harsh on like the kid actors. I don't think they're amazing, but I think more than that, it is for me some of the script stuff. And there's one story thing in this episode that just really bugged me, which we'll get into in the spoiler section. But there's just a couple things. I just feel like some of the plot and the way we go from point A to point B is not really that nuanced. We just come up with these kind of janky little solutions to get from different points. So I'm just not totally vibing with like the way the story is pulling me along and the general writing. However, once again, this is it. So there's the scary stuff is maybe like the most interesting part, and I think this episode does some really good stuff there. It's some familiar territory in terms of maybe character and location, and I think for the most part it works pretty well for me. So yeah, I liked the scares this time around. I kind of up and down with some of the CGI stuff, but I think this is a classic. It's all very dark, so it looks good. I feel like that's when the show struggles the most, is when they're doing things in broad daylight. This episode didn't really try to do any of that. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm maybe feeling a little bit middling on the show overall, and we'll see if I can get picked up. But honestly, with the stuff we got here in this episode, I would have expected to be maybe closer to a finale episode, and we're here just over the halfway mark getting into some of it. So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of different directions we could go here still. So yeah, it was a fine hour of TV, but not my favorite episode.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite. I still think it's probably between two. Or I actually did really enjoy last week's. I enjoyed
Oh,
that
nice.
episode quite a bit. So I think obviously we've talked about this before, but I do like a lot of the Shining. God, what there's Will Halloran. What is his last name? Dick. What is it again?
Halloran?
Is it Halloran? Yeah, okay, there's
You
Halloran.
just said it.
And
There's
Hanlon, right? Yeah, there's
Hanlon,
Hanlon
yeah.
and Halloran. Yeah, it's a confusing case, but we're joined by Mr. Fields here with the Christmas flannel and the Christmas tree in the background.
It's that time of year.
Is that a real tree?
That is not a real tree.
Okay.
Yeah, fire hazards and all that,
Yeah, I didn't. Fire hazards.
Yeah,
Trees
I
are
don't-
flammable.
they
Well,
are
yeah,
flammable.
but is that tree not flammable as well?
It is a fake tree, so it's
That's not what I asked.
if it is flammable, I hope it's not.
Okay. Was this episode flammable for you, Taylor Field? Dylan's feeling a bit
This-
more like last week, so where are you on it?
This, oh my god, it combusted and combustion engine, like holy smokes, it was on fire. It really was. This episode was great. I had a really, really good time with it, and I just feel like the thing for me that it's not necessarily like a crutch because I feel like it's doing its own really awesome stride forward with being it oriented, but the crutch I'm referring to is incorporating a lot of Shining factors into here too, and I just think that it's a clash of two things that I really like, and it's really working out well for me. Like how the Halloran character has just been a huge like peak 10 for me since this show started, and so now just getting to see more what's going on in this episode, I really enjoyed that. And I again too, what was mentioned in the Discord a little bit ago about how Skarsgård being in the costume as Pennywise just so minute for the first little bit. I feel like the build up and anticipation of such things is definitely justified, and he's just like a scary entity. I'd say getting to see these just different forms and whatnot, and yeah, all in all, this episode was great. Shorter too, being I guess only like 50 minutes with 57 with the credits and stuff like that. But it felt like it was shorter than the other ones. The other ones definitely felt a little bit more lengthy. But yeah, I think this is a fantastic episode. I really, really liked it.
Okay. So for my non-spoiler thoughts, I
I didn't spoil anything.
Okay. I enjoyed this episode. I wouldn't say I'm in the middle because I guess I feel like I'd be. That sounds like I'm underplaying. I did enjoy it. I think this episode's one I kind of thought we'd be getting at some point, which I'll mention in spoilers, but I feel like I kind of predicted just a method they were going to go and why they might use certain tools or certain characters go this way. There's one element which I'm not I'm curious if it's the one that Dylan really didn't like. There's one part that I did really like. There's one story element, so I don't know. We'll see if we interlink in that, but I did very much enjoy the twist with this element. I had a good time because at first I was kind of, I don't know, it was making sense. It's kind of a leap, and then once the reveal happens, okay, I can be on board with said twist here, and yeah, I'm still enjoying the show quite a bit for the most part. Yeah, I don't think this week was as strong as last week for me, but I still had a good time, and I think we're set up for some fun episodes coming up. I think that's a good thing that I feel like an episode like you were saying like this is not penultimate or right before the finale, or even the finale kind of feels like that. So we still got 4 episodes now, right? I think
3 more.
Yeah,
Right?
6, 7, 8. Yeah, only 3 more. My goodness. So there you go. So maybe only 3 more. So I'll be interested to see how effective those are going to be, because I feel like there's still a lot of characters and stories on the board. So maybe next week those will, and even this week I'll say there's already stories that are kind of getting woven together right now, right? Where it's just I feel like they were. in the same vicinity, but now they're in the same room for the most part. There's a couple characters still doing their own thing, so we'll see where that goes. But no, I still enjoyed this episode. I'm excited to talk about it, and I'm excited to see what kind of happens to our characters down the line, to see what happens. But I don't think it was like I think for me it was more the back half that I was enjoying. I think there's one story that I'm not too. I don't think it's bad per se. I'm just not locked into it yet. So I don't know. Maybe once we talk about it, I'll kind of decide where I am more. So anything else on spoilers?
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll take our first ad break and then we'll be right back. So full spoilers. If you've not seen the episodes, now would be the time to bow out. So we'll be right back. And we are back. So Dylan, I wanted you to start because I wanted to see where you were. What was the one storyline or one aspect you weren't digging the most out of this one?
I mean, it's kind of there's a couple things, but I think the one that I wanted to bring up, and it's kind of a minor detail, so maybe I'm just, nitpicking here. But for me, it was the scene with Ramar and I forget I forget his character's name, so I'm just calling him Ramar, and then I forget the name of the character he was talking to, who's like the person he was friends with as a kid. What's her name?
Oh, right, yeah. It's like Alice or something. I can find it up, but yeah, I'll find it. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a scene where they're talking, and they had a big conversation. I think it was last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, just kind of catching up on things. And we find out in this episode that he was lying to her, that he remembered more than he said he did. And the solution for that was that the government had given him a drug that like helped him accelerate to remember the things that he had forgotten, and then like all rushed back to him. Which to me is just like super weird, because I feel like that's what happens even in like chapter 2 is like, yeah, their memories kind of slowly come back over time as they see certain situations, but it just felt like a really weird, clumsy solution that like the government just had this magical drug that helps you specifically remember. Like, I don't know, is it just specifically for Derry and the weird memory stuff that happened there? Because I feel like if it's just a memory thing in general, I don't know if that makes sense, because it's kind of like Pennywise's magic that fucks with people's memory, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it would be Derry. I would just say the military is doing some weird drug shit, just to like testing shit out, and it probably just like, oh my god, I was remembering all these lucid shit that went on. I remember this one time I was a kid. Oh my god, kind of a thing.
So like they're testing it on the Ramar, or they're like, oh, we made this drug that helps people remember things, and we're just gonna pop it in you? Because I feel like he's high enough up. I don't think he'd be just taking random experimental drugs, right?
This could have been before he got higher up, though, right? Before, well, like, even though it sounds like it's somewhat recent, I feel like this is the. I'm with you. I'm with you on two ways. One, I don't like to me the Pennywise or them leaving Derry to me should be more of a supernatural, spiritual thing. It shouldn't be, well, I got this drug that can get this stuff back, right? It should be the second
wouldn't his memories come back anyway eventually? So it also just felt like kind of
if he
goofy.
goes to Derry, though, that's
which
the
he
thing.
did.
He did, but only because he had the memory, like he remembered some shit from before, right?
Yeah, I guess I'm just waiting to see, and that's where I am of two things. One, I don't love the Pennywise it thing of the kind of the curse or whatnot, and I guess even then it's kind of a little bit different though, because I remember in It Chapter 2 when they phone the adults, they start to remember some stuff. But to me, I that kind of works as far as the character from Derry specifically reminding you of, hey, we went through this stuff together with this clown, and that jogging some stuff, kind of breaking the curse. Where this, I don't like that. And then also, I just need to see in these next 3 episodes, which I don't think they're going to justify, what makes it any difference. The original pitch was, okay, the army's going there to look at this project. He sees a file and then starts to remember, and he gets into Derry versus, he brought the army there and he remembered all the time. I guess it's to not have him as like a trustworthy character, maybe, but I just don't felt like they made him have like a big heel turn then of like, oh, he's really screwing Rose over. Like he already did, right? As far as he had him locked up. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what they were trying to enforce of why would this guy do something? And they tried to go, oh, well, he is actually a really bad guy. But then I just kind of wish they always did that, because it didn't feel like Ramar a couple episodes ago when he went to her shop. It didn't feel like she revealed something of, oh, this is a guy that I trusted as a young fellow. I'll give you some information. It was kind of like, well, I got to do this and I'll stay in my lane and you stay in your lane. So I need to see more episodes and see maybe he's going to get more shitty, and that's the idea behind it. But it just, right now feels maybe unnecessary. But,
that's the big kicker is all these people are getting more shitty because they have that brief little bit of dialogue where you have this elders meeting and they're talking about how the creature discharges, right? And the people are drinking the water, and that leads up to some massive peak event of just like a shooting or some kind of big nasty thing. Then you get the 27 years of peace, right? So I think that's probably
Yeah.
this. It's the escalation of people getting more shitty.
Yeah, but he's getting more shitty because he's revealed something. It's not like because it's like he was always shitty, right? You're saying these people that are maybe had this water, they're getting a little infected. Where this is, he was already manipulating her from day one, right? No matter what, he lied about his intentions. That's why I can't get on board with that. So I don't know what it serves, but like I said, I'll wait and see what happens with Ramar's character and kind of go from there. But it was a weird as. At this point, it felt unnecessary to add on, So.
And to me, it's like, obviously we'll see how this show ends with this season, and if everyone dies, then I guess that makes sense. But if not, it's like I just don't understand how the military doesn't like track down like, oh yeah, I guess in 27 years we got to like send a unit to like back to Derry to, solve this problem again that seemingly pops up. Like it feels like if they have information and they have a drug that can help them remember stuff that they normally would forget because they've made this mystery drug, then like how does this keep happening? So obviously, yeah, if all these characters, all the people of interest die in this series, I guess that makes sense because all that info goes with them. But I don't know. I guess this just to me as a prequel to like chapter 1 and 2. I don't know if it's coming together for me. But yeah, well, maybe I'm speaking too soon on episode 5 here.
I think that's always been the worry with the army stuff, right? Because it's getting it so well known in the government, and that's where I guess you have to kill everybody off. But we know if that's the way you're following, we know Dick's not dying, and we know Hanlon's not dying because he. I guess actually no, we don't. He doesn't die because he's in It Chapter 1. He's like the grandparent that's looking after Mike Hanlon, so we know he's gonna make it. So that's where it just feels. Like, why wouldn't they know more? Maybe there's a chance they, for some reason, think they stop said, Pennywise sort of thing. The same way in the first, in It, they say, like they shoot him in the head, he falls down the well, and they're like, oh, if it ever comes back. So maybe it's like that. But I don't know if I love that either of Pennywise losing again.
But I feel like once they're connecting with the people who have been living here for hundreds of years, and they're like, oh yeah, this happens every 27 years, and like we think we've defeated him, whatever, but he just keeps coming back. I don't know. You think that they would trust some of that too, considering that like all their other information seems to be correct and corroborated?
And that's a little on the other point where it's Rose was her name, the person with Ramar. When they are together and it's a group of at least 15 to maybe 20 of them, and they're talking about all this happens and this is the worst it's ever got. That does make it feel a little odd when that storyline's nowhere in It Chapter 1, right? It's just the kids around, and you kind of get that later on in It Chapter 2, but it's almost explained of those folk are all gone, right? And I guess maybe by the time we get 27 years, most of them can pass away or die, but I wouldn't think all of them would. But I guess we're just gonna go with maybe they all are. So I agree with you where I think by itself I enjoy the stories, but I think it is tougher when you start to connect it to It Chapter 1. There is some, as of right now, some kind of loosey-goosey rules going on. Or I guess the army just deems it as like, oh, it's too dangerous and we're just going to leave Derry alone, which I'm sure that's what they're going to say, I imagine.
Maybe. But yeah, like once they have like soldiers dying, that seems like, okay, well now we've gone like nuclear with this and we got to like make sure that we figure this solution out.
Yeah. No, I agree. I did enjoy all that stuff because I think we kind of talked about. I even said like, even though I end up liking the Dick Halloran stuff, I said, "Oh, what's the point of when we're doing the army? They're just going to do aliens." And they kind of did that this episode, right? Of a bunch of guys going into the hole, and Pennywise is going to take them out. And I almost feel like they didn't go. They had some cool scares. I didn't feel like they went as graphic as I thought they were going to kind of go. It just felt like a lot of the soldiers seeing something scary, and then it gets them, and then they're gone. I kind of thought they'd go a little more brutal, especially like that first episode with the kids in the theater. I feel like that was really brutal.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought, especially with these as adults, they're going to go really hard. But so yeah, in the storyline wise, maybe not. But I liked the idea of kids being down there, the soldiers being down there, and I thought that was fun. The sequences, the wells, and I think we've seen kind of some places we haven't seen before. So that part when they go in and they're just waist deep, never good in any scary movie or game to be waist deep in a water. But I enjoyed all this stuff. Obviously, we get the big reveal at the end, but I enjoyed all the other people being taken out and whatnot. So,
what did you guys think of specifically the one soldier and his greatest fear being the Uncle Sam, I want you propaganda thing?
I took that as just more. He was scared to join the army because I guess this is still in the era where people are. Are they by choice? They're not by choice, right? Aren't they getting drafted still?
I
I
don't
have to
think
imagine this
Cold-
guy got drafted, or
I don't
he's
think the Cold War drafted.
like I feel like he's already been
Yeah.
drafted. So I don't know if he was like he's fearing that he was drafted, or if he's being
That's
drafted
what I
to
took
something
from it.
bigger.
That just you're scared of being a soldier. But even then, I guess like they wouldn't want they should not put anybody that scared down in this situation. You know.
Yeah, it was a little cheesy for my liking.
I liked it, but I don't think you're wrong that it was cheesy. But I liked seeing the grotesque Uncle Sam. I just maybe wish it was set up better. Like maybe if we had some backstory on this character of why this would be. But I guess they just said, "Hey, you're gonna see your fears," and hey, Will Hanlon saw his wife, so I guess he was afraid of her, right? Because they said you're gonna see your darkest fears down here, and he didn't Didn't they get him because he had no fear or something like that? Wasn't there a whole test about that?
For Hanlon?
Yeah.
That I don't know.
Because remember, he suffered some injury in his brain. I thought we talked episode 1 or 2 where they're talking about fear doesn't affect him the same way other people did, and that's why we were talking about oh, why him? Why specifically this thing?
They definitely set that up because Dick has this whole dialogue with him, right? When I scan people's minds, they have fear and this and that, but there was just you're scanning and you're figuring it out and everything like that. And I thought, oh, that would have been cool to explore, but he just got was he afraid? Because is he supposed to be afraid of his wife? I don't know, because he was reactive.
I think I just take it anybody that Pennywise can give a vision to is somewhat afraid, right? Because that's how Pennywise does that stuff. So he had to be afraid of something. Where the guy beside him, he didn't get no vision. So this guy was better than Hanlon. He was better than him. He had no fear whatsoever. He actually took a bullet for these damn kids, Mm-hmm. So I thought that was a subplot that we talked about at some point with the fear and stuff. So
yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. What do you think, Taylor, of the well stuff? You can try to block her, but we see her back there.
I know. I gotta figure out how to.
You need to get
block
a
that.
sheet you can just pull down, like a little
A little
cubicle
blanket,
for yourself.
yeah.
Little green screen, yeah.
Yeah. I
I
asked you with the well. What do you think about the soldiers down there and everything?
I think them going down there, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was cool seeing them. Again, them facing their fears was interesting, but it's just cool to get that aspect of just the military going in and trying to control and deal with this situation. I the whole idea of them relying solely on Tanliel. What was his name? He was the chap with the shard that he dropped, and everything went to shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of a bold. Daniel. Well, his name is spelled the same way as Daniel, but a T instead of a D. That's Rose's was it her nephew, right? Nephew or cousin? Yeah, nephew.
Nephew, yeah.
That's the idea that I guess she gives him that as some protection because they're going to use him to go down there, which was odd because I don't think they needed him. They got all the information from his mind, but I guess they just want him to come along, and he did lose said object, even though that does help out a character later. But it kind of felt very bold of them to have him go down and also have him at many points lead. I feel like you would have a soldier in front and then him tell you where to go.
I mean, I guess he was leading them, but yeah, it's funny too how they lost, they got split up somehow too. It feels like they were really uncoordinated.
Because Halloran had been missing for a while, and at one point it was Daniel and it was the guy, I can't remember his name, but he was the guard. He's kind of like the asshole guard, right? He's like, I'll be taking this, and he's the guy that made it look like he beat up Will. Hanlon drops and he's swimming away. He's gone. He's having a vision and he's gone for about 5 minutes. And Lake Dillon says the group's broken up. So we see Hanlon, and then we go back to Daniel, this guy, and he looks around and he's like, Dick, Halloran, you there? And it's like, this guy's been gone. He's been AWOL. And it's not even, I know he specifically wants him because he's got his shining powers, but at the same time, aren't you concerned about where your other people went? There's at least 3 other soldiers and guards that are just gone and missing. So yeah, I think they should have had at least a rope tied between one another. Their system wasn't great for this kind of crack team that they were sending down there. So,
and their plan was to go down and start acquiring the pillars, right, and then start shoving the pillars closer to create a smaller perimeter for this thing.
Yeah, I guess. I feel like this was the worst one to start off with.
Yeah, this was definitely bad, but it was cool them going to the old house and
Yes.
everything like that. I like that, but yeah, this was definitely it was brutal. It was not well thought out. They could have done a better job about it. But I like it. I like seeing the military go into like military versus paranormal situations like this. Always gets me stoked. And when you deal with like the original chapter one, not the original, but the later on with Skarsgård. You got that, and it's just the kids dealing with this thing, and it just seems very small scale. You don't even feel like the parents are aware. Like no one else is just present with what's going on. It's just the kids, and so now we're in this larger world where no, the military is involved, and the military has actually seen action against this thing. That's freaking awesome. I love that. And with Hanlon being in there and like actually like that scene where he doesn't shoot his wife, but it gets to the point where like the wife starts tripping out, and then it's just they didn't do
shoot
that
her, though.
classic. He did after it tripped the frig out. Like I mean,
Yeah.
would you shoot Emily if Emily turned into that thing at that point?
Well, yeah, because why would Emily be down there? Why would she just be hanging out on the well? They
So
literally said-
okay, let me rephrase this. So if you're down there and Emily comes out and Emily is still in Emily form saying, help me, you're gonna shoot her then?
Yeah,
Or are you gonna wait for
headshot.
her to turn into the demon
headshot.
thing?
No, because
Dome. Yeah, right in the dome.
right in the dome. Because they said don't believe anything you see down there. It's gonna see your greatest fear. It's gonna turn against you. Don't do it. So, it's
But he
going.
wasn't afraid of his wife, was he?
But why would his wife just be walking around in the well?
Remember, Bill kind of has to have that moment with his brother too in chapter 1. He used to
Yes.
shoot him in the head with like the sheep
Yeah.
cattle gun thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now your easy counter should be, well, later on his actual kid comes around the corner and that's messed up, right? But that was extenuating circumstances. The kids are also doing a bunch of stuff, but in reality you would not think anyone's there, and that's why he was going to shoot this kid. That's why we lost that one guy who I don't really understand how he got shot. Very awful way to stop a bullet from coming. Like just push the gun to the side, pull it up. He decides to like push his full like do a whole U-turn in front of the gun to absorb some bullet. I know there was something where okay, you know, he was a struggle and he shot them. So that's the counterpoint of, oh, well, look, if you would have just shot the kid, he would have been dead. I thought for a second we were going to go there, but then I forgot that this little kid still has to produce Mike Hanlon. But I was kind of like, this sounds bad. I was kind of hoping he was going to shoot one of the kids because I wanted there to be like a big, I wanted there to be like, because I feel like that would show how messed up it is down there, right? And that would really mess you up because they told you, hey, no matter what, everything you see down there is not true, and then there's this kid, but they didn't go that far. So
They very well
Yeah.
could have. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised at how close Pennywise could actually get to that shard thing. Like I thought it would be like, you know, he can get within like inches of it, but then he just can't cross that line. And I'm kind of curious how that works with like the perimeter of it now, because obviously Pennywise is like crawling around the tunnels in and around that thing. But I guess as soon as he gets right up to one directly, but then I don't know. I guess there's like some connection between all the different pieces that are out there that kind of make that perimeter that we talked about last week, Taylor. But yeah, I was kind of surprised at how close he can get to that thing. But then it's just straight up invisible wall in front of him.
yeah, I did enjoy seeing him kind of frozen in the big teethy state.
That was cool.
Yeah, because I feel like we always get because that's always like his last movement, right? In both chapter 1 and chapter 2, and he takes the kids and he grabs and like cuts to black right away. So I like that he's kind of frozen. And at first I wasn't sure if he was literally frozen. Kind of felt like he was just kind of registering what was going on, like just almost confirming is that it? Because I don't know if he just physically can't cross the line, or if he crossed the line, if he just like explodes. Like I don't
I think
know.
he can't cross it physically.
I agree with you. Yeah, I think so. So I liked that moment, him going back, and I thought the buildup was really good, and also we can get there, and that's what I did like. When they found, I'll have to, what is that kid's name? That was in episode 1.
Maddie.
He was in Maddie. So when he came back, I enjoyed that because I think this has to be Pennywise. I was almost like, if this is not Pennywise, this just feels very, very easy, especially when the kid, I get it, right? Because they're talking about, you know, he can't go home because his dad's his abusive father, but he was like, oh, I'd rather go back in that well than go with my dad. And I was like, what you just explained? No way. You just said you saw a girl down there you knew had her arm bit off, and you just watched her die for days, like in the most awful, painful way. He described literal hell in this well. He's like, I'd go back to well anywhere before I go home. So it's okay. This has to be this clown, and if it's not, then it's gonna be a ding for me. But I like that. I like that he was looking very disheveled, very like white, and like he looked pretty much dead, right?
He was
You
looking
know?
like Sam Porter freaking Bridges, if you ask me.
There you go. If they do the live action movie, he could play the kid version of him or a flashback. But and what I really enjoyed, this is where the CGI was great. His transformation into Pennywise was really good. It's like they spent all the budget on that to be like, okay, we have to make sure, we got Bill in. This is good. He just grabs his pole and he's spinning around slowly. Every time he spins, his head's like opening more and more. It's the teeth and the body like transforms. It was really well done. And I think a very big, like great, because obviously you've been waiting for Pennywise, which you did say in the non-spoilers. You're like, oh, we've been waiting to see Bill. But it's okay. We're making that the thumbnail. People know he had to be coming. But it's just like, I loved the transformation and the line, and I thought even the scene where he's in the well and you see the silhouette and he's walking up and he turns into her father and back at the clown. I hope that now that they built up to him, I'm not saying he has to be in this whole show, but I hope that we get a lot more good scares and moments with him, because Skarsgård still it felt like he was just right from the movies. He felt like he hasn't missed a step, like a Robert Englund playing Freddy Krueger. It just feels like that character's kind of in his bones, so I'm hoping we get some more good stuff, but I thought it was a very good reintroduction to him.
Yeah,
so
definitely. Yeah, I agree. Like him twisting into shape, that's such a classic Pennywise thing, because it's just so weird. But even that, like earlier on, when they're still on that like rooftop, or it's not a lighthouse. What is it? That building? I forget what it is that their hideout is in.
I thought it was I guess it's not. You're right. Not a lighthouse.
Can't be a
but
lighthouse.
It's something.
Whatever that tower is. When he was talking about like, oh yeah, I saw Pennywise eating this girl's like brains out of her skull like a bowl, and that's kind of how his head started opening up first before he fully twisted over. So yeah, that was really good. The funny thing, because at one point he, like before they went into the well, he was like, oh yeah, Pennywise, he sleeps during the day, and then he's awake at night. And I was overthinking that so hard, and then it's like, oh yeah, it's just Pennywise saying random shit. I don't think this is actually canonically true, but I'm like, I feel like there's so many counterexamples to this. I feel like he's always doing stuff during the day, but I like that he
is,
said that as a way to coax them in there. It's that was a good trick.
Yeah. What about you, Taylor? Finally seeing the clown.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. I was apprehensive because I wasn't sure. Like when he was coming out of the tent, I thought this is definitely suspicious. But yeah, those subtle red flags, like the same as you, Dylan, when he's like, "Oh, Pennywise, like he's during the daytime." I was just going through all my. I was going out there.
You might want to repeat yourself, Taylor. We lost you for a moment there.
I'm like you, Dylan. I was going through the process of trying to recollect everything that, him doing things in the daytime versus like doing things at nighttime. I was just trying to connect those dots and thinking like, no, that's a red flag. And then him saying like, I'd rather go back in the sewers versus like go back to my dad's, like you said, Charles. Like, oh, that's another weird thing to say as a kid. Like, there's those little things. And so when they were going in there, and obviously what convinces you is the fact this kid just starts morphing into the freaking clown. But that was great. It was really, really good. It was freaky and everything like that. So I'm on board for it. And again, I know kids will be kids, but if you're a kid and you trip and you say, wait up, guys, but you stand there for 10 seconds and say, wait up, guys, come on. Just run. Don't say wait up, guys, because no one's going to wait for you. If we were all in that situation, I don't think any of us are waiting. You're all running. We're all running.
Of course I'm waiting.
Pennywise?
I'm waiting.
Oh,
I'm not
no,
leaving
you're
any
gone.
behind.
You're shooting
Taylor,
Emily in the
definitely.
head within the first 5 seconds.
Yeah, because they told me that's a scary thing. They didn't tell me like that. They didn't tell me if they don't give me no preference and they just say, "Oh yeah, go down there, see what's down there," and Emily pops up, then yeah, I'm not shooting her. But if they say, "Oh, you see your worst fears down there," and you see Emily, who is my worst fear, so.
Whoa.
But no, it depends on the situation, because strength in numbers, Taylor. If you don't
Strength
save
in numbers.
if you don't save the person.
I would believe in strength in numbers, but clearly the numbers did not work for the army in this case. They definitely did not work out for them because people are disappearing in water and all these other things.
I feel like the kids, because they didn't even really have like any weapon or anything, right? Like they were fully banking
just
on
drugs.
Yeah, which is a crazy idea. But they were fully counting on Pennywise just being sleep mode full on. Like I guess they really had no backup plan, but they really went in there just extremely unprepared. And like the one girl, just got out of the hospital like 7 seconds ago. She doesn't have an eye, so she doesn't have depth perception right now. And like that's just a crazy idea to bring her along. And the fact that she was even allowed to leave the hospital is kind of crazy. I mean, maybe it's been a couple days since that incident, but it seemed like, that was her first day after the incident.
Or maybe she snuck out, but I'm of two minds of that story because I really did enjoy that scene last week, and because need a little karma. This person was being kind of mean to multiple people, especially this friend of hers. But I felt them getting back together way too easy. I thought there was gonna be a bit more conversation. Like I'm happy it wasn't multiple. I'm happy they didn't do the whole thing where we did blame Lily and she's going back to the asylum, or I'm happy it's okay. No, I know it wasn't you. I just covered up that you were trying to help me. But I wish there's more of a speech from that character. Like, you know what? I really screwed up these past few weeks. Like I thought these people were my friends, and I found out. You can even say they didn't even come visit me in the hospital. Like it's been such a good and I've liked it for the most part, but it's been a central part of their show, especially for Lily. And we've all had that in friends groups back in those schools where people go different ways and whatnot. So I thought there was going to be a little bit more of a reunion there, and it kind of just was like, oh yeah, I didn't tell them, and oh great, and you want to go on this adventure, sure. So I kind of wish that happened, because now it's at this point I don't think there's any reason to have that conversation. They're in a group, they're going to life or death situation, so I kind of felt that was very just I can't even say lazy because they didn't even do anything, just non-existent parts where the whole show has been this character. Like last week, she was going to completely embarrass her friend, right? And I felt she'd even just apologize for that. At this point, Lily didn't even know that was going to happen. So I don't know. I was very odd that I liked that they were back together, but odd that there was not much more conversation to it. So that was a hang up for me. But yeah, she's with the group. All the kids made out except for I think the good revelations too. You're seeing all the dead bodies and whatnot. So now, what are we thinking now with Pennywise? Do you think now the scares that we were getting in the show before, when we kind of get like 2 scares, do you think those are going to shift to Bill Skarsgård? Do you think it's still going to be small amounts? Like I bet in the finale he's going to be in a lot of that. But for 6 and 7, what are we thinking wise for screen time or appearances?
I mean, I think because in this episode we had one Halloran's dad through that dream sequence. Then we also had that one cop in the station when the one when the bus situation was happening, and then we also kind of had that hint when Lily was at that random ass lady's house, and then the husband was coming up and he was drinking a beer and he was like, "Where's my steak?" And I feel like that guy we're leading to him getting some Pennywise effect to him as well, leading up to some freaky thing that he's gonna do. So I feel like it's not all going to be Pennywise and all Skarsgård. I think we're just going to get a lot of more and more of the people of Derry kind of getting infected and having their weird, creepy turns, whether they're actually those people or if they're just Pennywise creations. I think that's what we're going to get. I think that's going to really dial up in these next few episodes here.
Okay.
Well, and I think that's where the city event, chaotic event that happens is going to come down to Hank, because we learned that guy drinking the beer, his wife is the one that's sleeping with Hank, right? So you that dynamic.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to get a whole city going mad and getting racist and just trying to go and headhunt this guy and find him, especially now because you learn, there was something attacked the bus. So obviously Pennywise is trying
and
to
that one guy
fuel
just tried to gun him down in broad daylight as well. So clearly the town's going crazy.
Yeah, I was caught off guard when he just had something attack the bus. I was something, and even then, I'm wondering, I guess it's just the town or something going on. But yeah, that's why some of the non-spoilers of that storyline, I like that they revealed who the woman was. I'm just wondering if I'm going to feel satisfied by the end of it. I just feel, I'm hoping next week a few stories get wrapped up in a good manner, just because I do feel like there's a lot of characters. And the weird thing is with this show is we know if it's successful, they're going to get a season 2, but they've said the season 2 is going backwards, right? So it's not like, oh, you could leave some stuff dangling and then we'll pick up with it, right? It's the other way, which I am kind of curious now. You almost feel like now when I'm watching this, I feel like now you'd start from 08, 23, and then 50, 60, whatever the time is, right? Where it's almost going to feel weird going backwards, where we have the army, have people figuring out, and then you go back 27 years. I really hope there's not in that 27 year, if we have a season 2, it's not the army discovering it or people of the army. And it's just if each season's a prequel, I hope it has its own distinct style where this is okay. We want to talk about more of the people that live there in Derry and then have this army aspect. But then if we get to season 2, it's going to be more of a, whatever they want to tackle. And I also wonder too, I feel like for people that are not educated as far as like us when we read articles and hear stuff with the whole build up to Pennywise, I wonder in a season 2 if people would deal with that again. Like I feel like in season 1 you can kind of get rid of or get away with it because you're reintroducing yourself back to it. It hasn't been around since 2019, but if you do season 2, I feel like people would expect him a lot sooner because it's a follow up. So I don't know. I think season 2, like I'm interested because I like the idea of going back to those really old time periods, but I feel some of the stories kind of paint themselves in a corner. And then like in some of the stories here, I'm just worried of getting that Disney Plus finale where everything's very quick and very one line to, and I feel like that could happen because like I said, that storyline with Lily and that girl, the resolution was just, oh yeah, I didn't tell him it was you, and they're best friends again. So it was very simple. So that is a worry for me of so many storylines going on at once, because now you have like, I know she kind of was, but Hanlon's wife has her own side mission. She's actively she's talking to lawyers and get
that's
this
like
guy
a
to prison.
full on side quest. Like there's a lot going on with that.
Like that's not just a simple, oh, I checked on him. She's trying to get him legal representation. So
yeah, at least with the genre and knowing what happens 27 years from now, like I guess the easy way out for a lot of that is just killing off a bunch of people. So you can start doing that next week, I guess, with more major characters if you want. But I feel like that's how we can wrap things up in a way that maybe isn't wrapped up with a bow, but it's wrapped up nonetheless in a very horror movie kind of way because you're just offing people. And normally you don't have like multiple episodes of build up before you kill them off. Normally if it's like an hour and a half long movie, they might die, 50 minutes in or something. But I guess that's just kind of when you stretch it out, that's what we'll get. So maybe that's what it'll be. Just maybe with next week we'll start killing off a bunch more people. Although it feels like this would have been the opportunity to kill off a bunch more characters if you wanted to down in the tunnels.
And even though he's not dead, I would cut, as much as I like the Dick Halloran story and the character, I'd actually be kind of fine if, not that we never saw him again, but we didn't see him maybe to the finale. And because I feel like he served his purpose. His purpose was to read that guy's mind, use his shining, and getting down there, right? We know he's not going to defeat Pennywise. I like that when he was walking at the end. Looks like he's just on a different planet. He's disheveled. He's seeing his grandma get shot and his dad's threatening him. And again, shout out to 2017. They did such a good job of with the smile, the eye, and the teeth. Because you mentioned Dylan, that guy at the prison, and then also his, whether it's dad or grandpa. Anytime Pennywise around, they just hit that face, and it's just like an iconic. Oh, Pennywise is here. But I like that it was kind of a. We haven't seen this in the show yet, but kind of a reference to The Shining, where he's seeing a literal person that just passed, right? Like kind of a lost soul stuck there. So it kind of makes sense that when he is in The Shining, it's like, that's some stuff. I don't know if it happens all the time, but I would kind of be fine if we don't see Dick around for a little bit, because I just don't know what else he could do. Everyone, and because the dad, like Hanlon, he knows that Pennywise is the thing now, right? So it's not like he has to convince the adults. So I don't know.
It felt like a send-off, to be honest.
Me
the way
too,
that
yes.
They worded his, if anyone could survive it, it's Dick Halloran, and he just he saunders out of that pipe. So I think for sure it was a send-off. I don't think we're going to see him anymore because he doesn't have a purpose anymore, right? And his state of being, how he felt there, it felt like I don't know. He felt like a version of himself more relatable to his version in The Shining, I guess. Much more just kind of, I don't know. Like, obviously, there's a big gap and a lot of development there, but his Shining version feels much more like calm and soft-spoken and just
that's why I feel like he hasn't seen like a dead body like that before. I feel like the show is trying to show you that he's seen some stuff, but he's never literally seen a person that just passed walking around, and that's where I could see him like on a bus out of Derry or something. But even this, maybe he's like, I gotta get out of here. There's too much hot traction going on here,
And on top of that, you got the box scenario too. I don't know how they're going to wrap that up, how they're going to tell that kind of a story, if that's going to be done in. I hope they don't tackle that in these 3 episodes. They can keep that box open, and we can tackle that somewhere else. It's fine. But again, that's a big thing that I like because it just falls hand in hand with the Shining, and why can't I remember the boy's name? Oh,
Danny.
help me out, Travis. Yes, Danny boy. Yeah, just the whole philosophy of you got to keep that box closed. You got to keep them bad things in there. So I like that.
I feel like if anything with Halloran, one of the interesting parts about The Shining is just like that kind of creepy but yet really interesting moment in The Shining when he's talking with Danny, and obviously like that's the first time we're seeing like the telepathy going on. But we haven't seen Halloran interact with a child in this show, and it as a franchise is a very kid star centric thing. So I feel like that's something we could do well to see because yeah, I think that'd be a fun kind of connection with The Shining, and maybe that would be a good way for him to give them the kids more information or something. I don't know how you set that up because it's not like we've been on the trajectory of him like interacting with these kids in any way.
No,
But
there's
I feel like,
one.
what is
Because
that?
with I think it was last week when Mike he didn't interact with a kid, but not Mike. Will, because God, I'm messing up all the Hanlons. Will's the main adult, right? Will Hanlon is our
Hanlon's son.
or no,
you're talking
Leroy.
about?
Okay, so there's Leroy's the adult. Will Hamlin is the kid, and then Mike Hansen. And he was talking to him about his son, about him being attacked by something, right? So not that he's interacted with that kid, but that it was the doorway to
Feels
him
like there's
trying
a
to
thread going on. Okay,
yeah, that was the thing. Like, hey, something happened to him. But my whole thing was, I kind of thought that would happen before they went to the well. As far as like, let's talk and figure this out. Now I feel like Leroy, he's fully seeing stuff like the kids, right? Like, the wife and all this. So I don't know. Like, I think there is a thread there, but I don't know what is. But like you said, maybe it's just to give some information where he goes, oh, I know a guy that can help. But again, I felt like Dick. I don't know if he's going right back to base anymore, but maybe he will. I don't know. I don't know if we're seeing more of him.
Yeah, it almost like with the amount he's been in the show and how big that shining element has been with his character, it almost feels like they're building towards like setting up that one of the kids has the shining as well, and we're gonna get into that. But I don't. At this point, I don't feel like that's where the show is going. I feel like we would have been tugging on that thread a little bit more if that was the case. I think it's just him. But yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't know where the storyline goes from here for sure.
I'll agree. I definitely thought he's in this way more than I thought he was going to be. I thought maybe you
Yeah.
might get him in it for a little bit and one centric episode. Like I could have saw that episode last week of him doing the mind F and getting into and final information. He does
Right.
that and then he's on his way. But I didn't think he was actually going to be going down into the well and doing all this stuff. So I was very surprised that he's been almost like, I think he got introduced in episode 2. So he's been in almost this entire series and in big scenes and roles too. Not even just always here for a little bit. He had that stuff at the bar. He had this. He went to the Hanlon's house for dinner. So he's been all over. So I agree with you. It kind of feels now he does need a bigger moment, but I could also see them just leaving it here. And same thing with the box. I think you could just leave the box alone. I think I don't know what you can explain in there. I just take it as like bad stuff, bad memories, you know?
I mean, it's the Pulp Fiction box. It's like the yellow light coming out of there, so you'll never know.
Well,
Yeah.
is there a place where let's say Pennywise wanted to get into that box because there's things in there that he could use, and I
Oh.
say that because if you look at how they did, oh my God!
Now I just want to see. I just want to see no one AI this. I just want to see a crossover of the Pulp Fiction characters with Pennywise, like Pennywise Souls in that box, and you have Jules and
I mean,
Vincent Vega.
it's like the same as his eyes, right? Like maybe there is something to it.
yeah, maybe.
The yellow
What's
glow.
the Doctor Sleep? So you Doctor Sleep when Danny opens up that box back at the Orient, not the Orient, the Overlook
Orient Express.
Hotel,
The
yeah.
Orient Express.
Orient Express.
We're just crossing over a bunch
Haunted
of.
train.
That would make sense though. That Tom Hanks is definitely. Like, everyone talks about how creepy he looks. He looks like he would be kids. Like,
That's
oh
the
come on,
Polar
kids!
Express.
But is it not called the Orient Express in there?
Orient and Polar Express are very two different trains.
What's Orient Express from?
The Orient Express is that's a real train.
That's the murder mystery movie that just
Yeah.
sucked total ass with Johnny Depp and
Yeah,
stuff.
thank you. That's what I was thinking. Okay. Dang. I thought Polar Express. Polar Express makes sense. They always say Tom Hanks looks creepy. So imagine that. It's taking the form of Tom Hanks just trying to get
Yeah.
kids, hey, get on this
you go.
train, you know? But
But yeah, so you have Danny unlocking his box or whatever at the Overlook Hotel, and all those spirits just go to fucking town on the evil chick. So maybe that's something too, where maybe Dick had a whole bunch of things locked up in his box, and Pennywise wanted to open it, and then I don't know, maybe
You can't
it's
just
fear,
be saying
right?
that sentence, Taylor. Come on.
Maybe it's all fear. So maybe Pennywise is able to like absorb it and keep that box open, and maybe it's just another tool in his tool bag.
yeah.
I don't know.
But
There's a
maybe.
dick
But
in
then
the
it's like,
box.
then it feels like it literally is. Then it feels like the show becomes more Pennywise versus Dick Halloran, right? And not the kids. So that's where you're at kind of an impasse.
He's like as big of a character as the kids at this point. it
He
feels like.
is. Yeah, he is. So maybe. I don't know. We got. I think we have a lot of interesting threads to go down, and I have enjoyed the show. I just wonder if the resolution of these threads is going to be satisfying at the end. You know. So, and I feel like I'm iffy on that part. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Had we been introduced to the affair partner like lady that kind of comes to save the day? Because the way she
No.
got introduced in this, okay, Taylor's nodding and said yes. Travis is saying no.
Oh wait, like what do you mean? Like, did we know this was the lady he was sleeping with?
No, have we seen her,
No.
this actress,
We've
on
seen her
screen before?
before. Yes.
Well, we saw her in this episode, right? And then
Yeah, but she's been in the past. She was in an episode last week's, I think, and a few before that.
okay, I meant interacting with a kid, but yes. So okay, so I didn't remember her.
Notoriously, I have a bad memory. I do not remember her at all. What was she doing, Taylor, in these other episodes?
She had to go to Juniper Hill for a night at Lily, and then the next day she was talking to this same woman because they had formed a bond. They had disclosed this whole thing, like when her mom went to pick up Lily at Juniper Hill. Like,
Is she the
she's
nurse
just talking
there?
to the lady. Yeah, she was the nurse.
Oh,
they have a bond
okay.
there, so they were talking.
I feel like
So
she looks very
this
different
is-
in her non-nurse fit. Okay,
This-
that makes sense. Okay.
This is their third conversation that Lily and the nurse have had where they've talked, because they talked at a restaurant before.
Jesus.
So yeah.
Yeah, I
screened
assumed
him
it
as
was that
dick
lady,
over
but like she looked very different to me. But I don't know, my eyes suck, I guess. So thank you for filling me in.
I didn't recognize her either, Dylan. I was like, who is this? I was like, okay, I was glad they revealed who this lady was, but anything else?
I think that was all for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all I got. It's all the juice.
It's all juice.
It's all the juice. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week. We'll see what's going to happen, see what happens when these people get out of this well, see how much Pennywise is in, see if Dick's still just walking the earth. And we'll be back, and it will not be boring.